Greetings everyone, it's Kaz here, and today we are talking Horizon Zero Dawn and its potential as a future major IP and franchise for PlayStation and Sony. And the fact that I believe it is going to be Sony's next massive major franchise, which some may consider a bold prediction from myself. I think it's pretty self-explanatory at this point, and I'm going to explain why that is today. So the crazy fact of the matter is, we are only a few weeks away from the launch of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is honestly crazy. It's come on us, I feel like, so fast, kind of out of the blue. The fact it was moved to February of this year out of all the cramped space that was fall last year in terms of game releases, and it certainly got its own room also to stand out pretty well, I think. But even sooner than when we'll be getting our hands on the game itself, we'll also be getting reviews for the game dropping only next week, thanks to the embargo lifting actually very early, which is something actually I think relatively unusual for a first party game of this caliber, with its embargo lifting so early on. Because of this embargo lifting so early, it seems they're very confident in their game, which is also a very good sign for us as consumers and as gamers. So let's talk exactly why Horizon Zero Dawn I feel will become PlayStation's next massive franchise. So far from what we've seen, it is a very unique style of game for a first party Sony and PlayStation title. The fact that the setting looks so super intriguing from what we've seen of it so far is very unique, and that's not just necessarily on a PlayStation level, but on a industry level. I'm really looking forward to diving into this world, into this universe, and discovering everything it has to offer in terms of story. And that's something I haven't said, I feel, for a while, considering all we have on the game is all the commercials and trailers and stuff like that. But the setting isn't the only intriguing thing about this game, of course. There is the combat, and of course the whole inventory and RPG style of mechanics that will be present in this title. And it is that kind of inventory management, that crafting, and the large open world with obviously a lot of boxes to tick in terms of locations to visit, bandit camps, things like that. It's all those kind of things that, funnily enough, we'd actually kind of typically, I feel, associate with a Ubisoft title. But the whole style of killing enemies and then looting them and then using those items that we loot to craft new weapons and progression and so on and so forth. PlayStation, at least in my recent memory and thought, doesn't have a game like that first party. And considering for me personally, those kind of games, Skyrim, Fallout 4, The Witcher, all those kind of open world huge games that have very similar side quests and similar systems in place like that, because I'm a huge fan of that style of gameplay, that is a reason also why I'm super sold on Horizon Zero Dawn, at least for me personally, in terms of the genres I enjoy in video games. I touched briefly on side quests there. The side quests of this game, from what we've seen of them, have for me, as I said, a very similar kind of Witcher, or maybe even a Mass Effect kind of vibe, in terms of, you know, you meet these characters and they need help in whatever way it may be. The way in which, you know, your main character, she goes up and she's chatting to these different people, and you've got the kind of choice wheel. You can choose what to say, and depending on what you say, you know, it depends on the outcome, alters the outcome of the quest. All of that really deep stuff is fantastic for Sony first party, I feel, and I feel it's really going to resonate with a lot of people. Aloy as a main character, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, by the way. Aloy as a main character does seem like a promising protagonist for this game. It's also very distinctive in terms of her carrying around her kind of bow and arrow, which of course reflects the kind of primal state I guess humanity has returned to in this game. So despite the fact I really don't know much about Aloy, I feel as though she certainly has promising potential to be a pretty large player in terms of future PlayStation mascots. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, Sony has a lot of upcoming incredibly promising looking first party titles out of first party studios, substantially more so than their competition. And do correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but for me, Horizon is going to be the first party Sony PlayStation game in recent memory, in recent times, that is a large expansive open world with these deep RPG mechanics. Lots of these games, these first-party Sony games that are going to be coming out over the course of 2017, 2018 and beyond, are actually going to have these kind of mechanics as well. For example, from what we know of Days Gone, it's going to be similar in that regard. It's going to be a large open world, but in terms of RPG mechanics, we don't know a lot on that front quite yet for that game. But at least in my mind right now, I feel Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be a huge game for Sony. It's going to be that huge open world, that first huge open world, first party wise, on PlayStation 4, at least I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It's going to be a major game release for Sony, and I think it's on a lot of people's radars, especially they've been pushing the game hard in terms of advertisements lately as well. That can only be a good sign in terms of Sony believes in the product, they believe in Horizon Zero Dawn, and they're willing to push it that hard to consumers because they believe it's going to resonate with people, and I 100% agree with that assumption. And continuing with that train of thought, I do see it performing pretty damn well on the PS4 in its first month or so. It's got a lot of room around it. There's no other first-party Sony releases coming anytime soon around it, so I do see it performing damn well financially. So what do you guys think of Horizon Zero Dawn? Are you excited? Make sure you let me know in the comment section below. But that's enough from me. I feel as though my point has been put across pretty well in this video. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Farewell.